What's up, AfterBuzzers? We are back after a week off. We're talking all about episode 14, The Graduates. And this episode had so much going on. We've got Kate and the baby, graduation, past and present, and a little bit more about Kevin's drinking problem. So stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey! Guys, I'm fair warning you. This episode is going to be
crazy
and fun because this is us.
This is us.
We've been doing this all night.
Just
the two of us.
Hey, we can make it if we try.
We're gonna get an issue about our singing now.
Right.
Listen,
it's
we
okay,
both
guys.
sing
We weren't
better.
trying. We weren't
trying. That was just like
it's okay.
It was so much better normally. We normally hit all the notes. This is just gonna be a comedic show for you all. So I hope you're buckled up and ready to go.
Let's go.
Because we had a week off.
You did.
We did, because for some odd reason, This Is Us was off last week. But now we're back for 4 more weeks straight until the season finale. We only have 4 more weeks left.
4 more weeks. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. We've been going for a long time, though, since like September.
That is true, yeah.
It's been a moment.
It's been a while. Now that you look back, a lot has happened this season.
I mean, 14 weeks, but we had a break. We had an interlude over the holidays, and we had 2 weeks off here and there, and then we had a week off last week.
Some president was making some type of speech.
Maybe
that
casual, no big deal. But either way, we're talking all about episode 14, The Graduates, and there was a lot going down in this episode. What were your overall thoughts of everything?
Well, I'm your boy, Danny Royce. It's nice to see you all beautiful people.
Sorry. I'm just so excited about this episode. I'm Candice Cruz. He's Danny Royce.
You know who we are.
Yeah.
But my overall thoughts, man, it just, This Is Us. It hit us a lot. And, punches left and right like it always does. Some of my predictions have been in play this episode, which was
remind
interesting.
Remind me of the predictions again.
Well, my biggest one was that Kate loses the baby.
But we don't know yet.
But we don't know that. But but also some other ones as well we'll talk about later on. But yeah, it was a lot going on. I enjoyed it. I think it was very. It wasn't as impactful and like fast paced, but it was just enough to get started again after the week off.
Yeah. And I feel like too, it was almost 2 weeks off because we had one episode of just Beth.
Right.
I really felt like this episode took us on like a journey. Like we have so many, like all of our topics and everything that we have to talk about tonight. There's a graduation, past and present. We've got Deja and a lot more of Deja, which I really appreciate. We haven't seen a lot of her storyline in a while. She's kind of just been hanging out in the back while Randall's been doing his campaigning and carrying over from last week's episode of Beth. We see her on her first day of dance class.
Also excited.
Super excited, which we'll cover on later how that excitement level changes. And then obviously we saw 3 weeks ago Keven taking his sips again and getting back into the drinking. So that was obviously a huge topic of this episode. But I feel like we should start out with Kate's graduation.
Yes, let's do it.
Congratulations, Kate.
Congratulations,
16
Kate.
years, you graduated from college.
Right.
That's amazing. That's a huge feat.
That is. It's crazy. And Toby's just amazing, as always, throwing that graduation party.
Not even a graduation party, holding the graduation
ceremony, yes.
The full-on,
and party. And everything, cake, everything. It was incredible to see.
Yeah, him with the doctoral robe and the hat. I died. Now we don't know. Toby may be a doctor. He could be.
It could be.
We don't know. I don't know if it's easy to rent those without actually being a doctor.
I don't know. Who knows? Toby can find a way, I'm sure.
He always does.
Always finds a way.
He always finds a way. And I loved that it was very I don't know. I think Rebecca hit on it most. Because Rebecca obviously flew out. But she really hit on the fact of you graduated in your own time. You did everything in your own time, not when life told you were supposed to do it. Which I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was really touching. And it's never too late, too. It just that message that it's never too late to go back to school or to graduate or whatever. And just because society says one way doesn't mean that, there's so many other ways you can do it.
Yeah. And even that one guy, he escaped his country from persecution in 1952.
Extremely old.
Extremely extremely old.
Which he did not look extremely old.
No,
I mean, he looked pretty
like,
good. I mean, he was Latino, so he looked
hey, listen, we aged very
right.
well. But I will say, I mean, Rebecca's 76 is what we've established. So she's looking real good for her age.
Real good.
Real good. I mean, Mandy Moore's, 33?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. What, is he 33?
33, 34. Wow. She's young.
That's crazy.
Well, she started when she was like 15.
True.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, Mandy Moore.
Danny's going down memory lane
I know.
now.
I'm just thinking about like the first song that I heard her sing, all that stuff.
Like Candice.
Yeah.
We're just singing the whole.
We're gonna be singing this whole episode. I hope you guys are ready.
Long. But I really loved the graduation part of it, and I think it led perfectly into the time warp. And I know that
so great.
It was so good because the little graduation was such a bigger picture element of so many different things. So that's why I felt like that would be a good place to start because it stems off of everything else. But like we obviously see Jack and Rebecca getting their camera and doing the baby videos, which I thought it was adorable that Keven and Kate have always had their like twin
their twin thing, of course.
And also, how do you get two babies that don't know each other to hug like that on camera and be like, hey, you hug her? Like, that's impressive.
I want to see how long that took. Yeah.
I wonder how many takes that took to get that baby to get out of that stroller and to hug.
And to hug and to comment. But that was a cute scene, though. The thing I also was looking at, like, Randall, I was like, oh, because that also grew, that separation between them two and Randall. And then we saw a little bit more of that on the stairs later on in the episode where he's like, you two always had your thing, So it just kind of like we saw it when it first started developing when they were younger. So it was different.
I mean, I think it goes back to
cute,
like,
though.
It was adorable.
It was so adorable.
Cute. And like, he kept feeding her too.
Yeah.
Again, finding a child that young to do that, I'm impressed. Good job. That's huge.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I work with little ones all the time, and I'm like,
exactly.
I can't get them to do that.
That was some kudos to the child actors.
Exactly. We love you.
Make
Good
our
job.
lives a lot easier.
Exactly. And it felt believable.
Right.
But
it did.
I think it goes back to like twins, triplets. They all have some type of shared connection there. But I really enjoyed going into the high school. And obviously, I forgot that it had been 4 months. Not even 4 months after Jack died that they're having to graduate.
Isn't that crazy? That time frame kind of threw me off too because I was like, it really was that soon. And so like we saw Kate's rebellion against graduating, and just the fact that she didn't know what she wanted to do or where she wanted to go, which is something we all go through. Well, a lot of people go through after high school. It's just like you just society's telling you to go into college.
And know what you want to do with the rest of your life.
Right.
At 18.
At 18. It's like, what?
I was just living in my parents' household.
Right.
And they were doing my laundry. Now you want me to know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life tomorrow? Sure.
Right. And so we just saw that, conflict with her and the other two boys. And, the relationship between her and Keven, I kind of reflected on me and my brother when I left and moved to New York. And it was just kind of like, because we weren't twins, but we did everything together. We were like two peas in a pod. So we very well could have been twins. But when I left, that relationship, kind of dwindled a little bit just because of the separation. But every time we came back, it was like we picked up right where we left off. And I love how Kate, she gets a little bit in her feelings at first, but then she sees the bigger picture and just like, hey, you need to do this. And she supports her brothers. I love that about her.
Oh, I do too. And I think, it's one of those that like you see how long it took her to get over her dad.
Right.
And this is just the beginning and like that loss. And it's a lot for any 18-year-old to figure out what they want to do with the rest of their life. But then to have your dad die 4 months before your graduation, I feel like that completely changed her entire trajectory.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I think the comment from Rebecca was so important of saying, like, you didn't do it when society told you. You did it in your own time. And we even saw a lot of Rebecca's journey of after losing Jack.
Yeah, got a little more insight on that.
Like, I cried a lot this episode. Because, listen, Mandy Moore, you are just a gift.
Right.
To see her open that vulnerability so much and so raw. Every single episode that they talk about that was so just heart wrenching. It just like broke me to see, because like we even see, I think that ties into the video cameras. Like he wanted to be there for everything. He got the first camera and it's like, we need to have these moments. Like we need to have all of them on tape. And then for her to go get the camera and to go to the graduation and him to not be there, like he's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that was just hard to watch as well. And just you know, being a kid as well, expecting your dad to be in the audience, and he's
or
not.
any parent, like
Yeah,
whether
any
it's dad
parent.
or
Yeah,
mom, like
dad or mom, like just, and they're not there. That's tough.
And for 2 graduations, single mom, you just lost your husband 4 months ago, and then this guy has the audacity to hit on her in a Radio Shack.
I knew exactly where that was going. I'm just like, but you know, it's
How
like,
insensitive can you be though?
right. It's like, I was so upset at that point.
I literally just want to be like, dude,
like,
you are
really?
an idiot. You think that picking up a woman, she's actually going to go for that?
Right.
Yes,
Like,
my husband
she's
just died
vulnerable.
4 months ago. Of course I want to go get coffee with you. No.
Exactly. Like, just picking on a vulnerable woman. But you know what really just got me was what he said, I meant to reach out. Like, you meant to reach out in 4 months, but now you all of a sudden want to hit on her. Like, what?
I know. And
You
you're
didn't
also
say any
like,
condolences or anything.
no, and taking the moment of like really making sure she got this specific camera and like, I can help you
Right.
with this. Like, no.
Oh my God.
No.
It was such a sly move.
Oh, I hated it.
It was terrible.
That's a slimy man.
Yes.
I can't. But to watch those videos back and to see her like love with Jack again, I think it just reinforces the love story that we've seen a lot this season too.
Yeah.
Which I actually got to talk to Milo about a little bit.
You did.
On the red carpet. So we have videos later on in this episode where I got to actually interview Milo on the carpet of NBC mid-season previews. So I'm like,
That was dope.
he is the most amazing person. We'll talk about it later. But
For sure.
we got some good coverage.
Yeah, before we go on to our next topic, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. And for us to continue to grow, we could always use your help. So go ahead and make sure you subscribe on YouTube to your favorite channels, especially this one, because this is us.
This is us.
Give us ratings on iTunes, 5 stars, make it rain.
Thumbs up, all the things.
Thumbs ups, leave your comments, and being a part of AfterBuzz has meant so much to me because I get to talk to you all about the TV that I love. I get to share the panel with Candice, and she's just amazing. So
Thanks, guys.
and it's given me some great opportunities just to be in front of you all. So I'd like to thank you so much for supporting us and doing what we love.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like to be able to watch this show every single week and love it that much. And I talk about it even outside of the after show all the time because I love it that much.
Yeah.
But to be able to be on here and to have the community from you guys. We actually had someone tweet us today a picture of themselves with Sterling K. Brown. Like that's the fact that someone even took the time to do that. It's all because of you guys and because of AfterBuzz. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. We see it all. We see it all. We love you all.
See it all. Is there anything else that we want to talk about regarding the high school graduation time warp back in the day? I think we did get a little bit of Miguel too.
Yeah, yes, because we did see that moment where vulnerable Kate met with Miguel, and I think that's when their relationship.
Wait, Kate?
Rebecca. Rebecca. I'm sorry.
I was like, we watched the same episode.
Vulnerable Rebecca met
Yes.
Miguel, and that's when we saw that relationship really kick off. When you went to the counseling group. So I think that was like pretty nice to see that.
Yeah. But also to me, like that's way different of a relationship than what that man was trying to do. This is from a genuine place of love.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was never from a I want to date you. It was never from that type of place at this point.
Exactly.
Because we obviously know Miguel and Rebecca didn't become a thing until after Randall had his first child, Tess. So it's going to be a while between then and now whenever they actually end up having a romance. But
Exactly.
to see that one person that knew Jack just as much as she did and to support her and to drive her to that support meeting and just say, I'll be waiting here for you. Oh,
I know. That was so nice. That's really, what she needed, just someone to grieve with that knew Jack almost as well as she did.
Yeah, exactly.
It's needed.
I can't imagine that heart-wrenching feeling. Like,
Right.
I just, like, can't imagine to watch that and to be living, like she said when she was talking to Kate, living all the biggest moments in her life. We hated calendars, hated time clocks, hated anything that told me that life was moving forward without him.
That was touching.
That was beautiful.
Yeah,
because that feeling is real, and I think anybody can relate to that.
Yes,
of whether you've lost a loved one or a spouse or significant other. It's like every day is a struggle just to get up. But I mean, and I think it goes into trying to get into routine.
Yeah.
And trying to just make one step in front of the other.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. Another episode that we do. Look at us.
Look at that.
Doing play on words. But
Weird. Love it.
I can't do this anymore. Can we just stop? Because this is too good.
It's too good. I mean,
this is us.
Perfect timing, everything. This is us, guys.
This is us. And going into routine. See that segue?
Routine.
Deja.
There you go. Deja routine.
Deja routine. I loved the storyline of Deja this episode and like really getting to see her stretch her legs a little bit more. But how do you feel about this teacher putting that essay up on the website? Clearly, you know my feelings by my voice.
It's like, who? What?
What? I'm sorry. My voice went up like 5 octaves.
Yeah, no, I think that was just extremely out of her place, extremely disrespectful. And I don't know what she was thinking, honestly. Like, no.
There's a thing called teacher-student confidentiality.
Exactly. I'm like, no teacher. I know what.
I'm surprised she didn't get fired.
So, exactly. Then
whatever.
I think definitely she should have been reprimanded. I don't even know like if her intention was, oh my God, like just knowing where Deja has come from. Like, I'm so proud of her. Let me share this story. But it's like, it's not your place to do that.
Right.
And then on Deja's side, I get it. I understand how it seems like she's getting handouts, you know, especially coming from where she came from. But also, if you look at it from another perspective, like this is what you're doing, this is where you come from, but you're able to skip a grade or whatever, it shows that other girls who came from the same background can do the same thing, you know? And it's just like, I think Deja is being a little selfish in that aspect because like she did it on her own. Like she's showing the work, the results are there. And then it was sending a message to a lot of other girls, young girls.
No, I agree. I mean, but again, she's 12.
Exactly.
She's 12
so
or 13.
She's not thinking
like,
about that, you know.
Exactly. And I think, number one, that teacher is an idiot.
Of course.
And like, she knows she was as soon as she started crying.
Yes. I love how Randall came in there.
He like, listen, no.
Right.
No. And I loved when he was talking to Deja on the street to see Papa Bear come out.
Yeah.
You know what? No.
Nope.
No.
He was having a whole conversation in his head.
You know, get in the car. Just get in the car. Like that moment of you can see the wheels turning. And it reminded me of what my dad would do. Of like, no one messes
exactly
with my girl. And so for him to do that, but I loved the little switcheroo because Deja can skip into high school. What do you think about that? Do you think that she should?
I think she should. Honestly, I don't see why not. I mean, I get it. You have certain people, you know, in the class, whatever.
But they're already calling you Pontiac. So do you really want to hang out with these people?
Right. So I'm like, just go ahead and skip. Like, whenever you have an opportunity to finish school earlier, do it.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I mean, why would you waste your time?
Why would you? You know,
why would you waste your time? Because she's technically supposed to be in the 8th grade at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she would skip all the way to be a freshman.
That's crazy. But I think too, at that age, I remember that age where we worried so much about what other people thought. Even if they were mean to you, you wanted to stick it out because you were like, they're going to be even more mean to me if I do something better or if I do something big with my life or whatever it may be.
Of course.
Like, oh, you just think you're too good now. I remember those days very vividly where you want to make yourself blend in and be smaller.
Yeah.
And also, I think this part I've never experienced, but the routine part of her coming from her background and then wanting to have routine. But all I could think about was you're just delaying the inevitable. Like you're going to be going to high school and your routine is going to change.
Exactly.
So why are you going to delay it by a whole nother year and be bored?
Right.
than just like, you've done so well, finish out the year, and like, let's put on our big girl pants and go on up.
Right. I think it definitely has to do with just like, she doesn't want people to think a certain way about even her skipping, whatever it may be. But it's like, at the end of the day, just go for it.
Right.
And then I was like, also just watching this episode, I'm like, do they still skip grades nowadays? Like,
I guess. I don't know.
like,
I think
I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah.
'Cause my dad skipped 2 grades. And
wow.
Yeah.
He was like a little bitty man in the big junior year. He's like,
I know.
hello.
I'm like, okay.
14 in junior year. Oh my gosh.
I guess, right.
Whew.
Like, that's crazy.
That's brilliant. I do remember we had one girl that always came up from the middle school. They would drive her from the middle school to the high school in my sophomore year so she could take our sophomore year math class.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because she was that.
Oh, one of the class.
That would advance. And I was like,
advanced class, yeah.
Okay. Sure. But I mean, to me also, I was like, if these people are calling me Pontiac and bullying me, get me out of the school. Because normally it's 6th, 7th, and 8th, or 7th and 8th in middle school. You're leaving the entire building.
Right.
Like, all these people are gone. You get to start fresh in high school. I'm all about starting fresh.
All about it. Like, let's go, move forward.
Listen, every time I had a hard time, I was like, Mom, can we move? Can I just start over? Like, can I press the reset button?
Time out. Let's do
Please, let me just do a redo.
But I mean, Deja, we're looking at a young black woman who has not found her power yet. Has not found her strength yet, and so she's not owning up her intelligence. She's still kind of like playing it low, playing it safe instead of risking it. So, but I'm excited to see Deja get a little more into her young adulthood and start owning herself.
And I think too, there's the similarities of Deja and Randall is that they're both going to very smart schools and also a more heavily white populated school, which is something that she brought up multiple times of like all the white teachers, all this. And to me, I think that that's another struggle that she'll probably deal with as well. That I think that's why it's so lovely to see the connection between her and Randall.
Right.
Of like, if she just relinquishes like her control and listens to what Randall has gone through. He's gone through so many similar storylines that Deja is doing. And I think she's fighting it because she even said like, I don't want to be a story. I don't want to go with like the same way that you did.
Right.
So I think it'll be an interesting journey.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Like, Deja, be a story so everyone can read it.
Listen, I'm trying to be a story.
Right.
I want to be a story.
Like, who don't want to?
I know everybody wants to be a story. Come on, and Beth is wanting to be a story too.
Yes.
And
Beth wants to be a nice dancing fairy tale.
Her story resonated with me hard tonight.
Yeah.
Because here's my thing: coming from being an independent woman and someone that I've been in relationships where I knew that my journey was bigger than the relationship.
Yeah.
And my dreams were bigger. And sometimes being not stuck, because I think they're obviously past that, they're married, they have a relationship. But the only thing that I can tie it to is that like I would stay in this relationship because I cared so much about this person, but I knew that I had a bigger journey that I needed to go on. And for someone to say, I need you to give up on that and be responsible.
Right.
Oh,
that was rough.
Oh, I've heard those words before, and they are the like knives to the heart.
Yeah, that was a rough scene, but I predicted that their relationship would come to some rough patches because of that. Because
and we saw the
expenses.
Spreadsheet too.
Yeah, the spreadsheet, the family budget, like all that stuff. Like because how it's hard. You have to get someone to watch the kids and do all that, and there's just so much going on with Deja. Test coming out, all that stuff. Like
there's a lot,
it's
especially
like,
if you're going to have a nanny that's going to be dealing with someone that just came out, and Deja and coming from foster care and being adopted and trying to skip a grade, and then our poor little baby at the bottom.
Yeah,
she's just hanging. She's just smiling like, what's going on, guys? I don't know.
That's Faith, and she's adorable.
Well, what's Faith's name though? We haven't heard it in a while.
I know. Wow.
Hold on, y'all. We've been talking about Faith for so long that we got to get her real name. All right, you continue your train of thought. I'll pull this up.
Yeah, look that up.
I'm sorry, feedback. I'm leaning. You keep talking.
Annie. Annie Pearson.
Annie.
Yes.
Why was that so hard to
I
figure
don't know.
out?
We haven't seen her in a little bit.
We
I'm not gonna lie.
haven't heard her name in a while. Little Mamas is all we hear.
Little Mamas, right?
And we just keep calling her Faith, so we're like, hey. No, Annie.
Annie. Yeah. It's just a lot going on. I was hoping that Beth wouldn't just nosedive into this and take things slow. Maybe like do a part-time schedule,
right.
You know, but doing like all these nights and weekends, it's like, what do you expect that's gonna
I mean, I agree on both tokens. I think it is a little selfish on Beth's part because I think she's really trying to mend wounds of like losing her job and then playing second fiddle to Randall while he's running.
Right.
And I don't think she likes being the first lady of someone else. I think she likes being an equal partner, which I feel like it's so multifaceted you can't see black or white.
No, you
it's a
can't.
very gray scenario. Like, I understand you don't want to do that, but you also need to support your partner because it's his time to shine.
Yeah.
But also, I don't feel like I've ever been able to shine. So like, let me shine too. But we have kids.
And there were a lot of people in the live chat. They were just saying like, you know, that they hope they stay together, but some of them see a divorce coming. A lot of them said they blame Randall if they do get a divorce, which I don't know. I wouldn't.
I don't
blame,
know if I agree with that.
I would. I don't agree with that. I just think. I mean, it would be both. It would literally fall on both because they pushed each other for both of these things. Yeah. You know, you said go dance. She said go run for office. So it's like. You need to find a medium somewhere.
Yeah, and they're causing the. I hit
toilet tissue.
We'll talk about the toilet paper soon. We're still doing our tissue moments, but I think they're both pushing each other, and it's like two trains are like almost trying to collide.
Right.
And like they've got to figure out whether they need to like join together on the track, whether they're going to crash, or whether they're going to go on separate tracks.
Right.
Did that metaphor work? I think it did.
It did. I understood it.
Thank you. I'm doing hand motions
like,
while we're like talking about it, but I don't agree with it being Randall's fault.
No.
I think it's a mutual party thing. Like sometimes in some situations it's one versus the other, but I think it's really
it would definitely fall on both, I believe.
On both.
Yeah. It's just it's a difficult
and different seasons of your life. Sometimes people continue on in their seasons and they can push through, and other times you just grow apart.
Exactly.
Or your journeys grow apart. That doesn't mean you love each other any less.
Right.
But you have to figure out what's more important. Is it the relationship or is it my own personal journey? And then we'll see. We'll see. We didn't get any future predictions with this episode. It was all past.
Yeah.
So.
just the little predictions we had, was it before the break, when they were on the phone. That was it. Remember the
Yeah.
So we still don't know if they were actually separated in the future or not. But
well, we know she's dancing still, so that's all we got.
Exactly. So she's stuck with it.
She is stuck. And then also we did talk a little bit about a couple weeks ago, Kevin's drinking.
Yeah.
And that was a heavy topic. But also, can we just touch on the lighthearted moment for just a second? Kate knocking on that door.
Right.
And she says, Keven, open up. And he goes, Kate, I was actually on the way to the party. Oh, no. And he just lets her walk right in to see the bottles. And he just goes.
Up. He's just the saddest
For all of you all listening to the podcast on Spotify and iTunes, you can now go over to YouTube and watch my face because it's very like... he didn't fight back worth the crap. He was just like, Kate, no.
Kate. That was it. But I think he knew at that point you can't fight Kate. You know, I'm like, you can't. Just give up.
She's a 27-week pregnant lady.
Right.
She is not going to be messed with. Don't mess with her. And she's your twin sister.
Right.
Nah.
Yeah. I mean, she knew something was up when he even came to her.
And
her
also, if
ceremony.
you got I would have left it text number 6 without responding. She got to text number 10.
Right.
She kept going. I was like, come on.
It's
like,
so
you know.
crazy.
And also, how did Zoe not know? Because if he literally left the house, the apartment, the hotel. He left the hotel. And all those bottles of alcohol, no bottle of mouthwash
That's
will
what I was
get that
thinking.
out
That's what
within that quick amount of time. Like, that's 3 hours. No one could not tell that.
Right.
Like, I don't understand how she didn't at least taste
I don't
that.
understand. Yeah, I don't understand. I was waiting for it. When he went to go kiss Zoe, I was waiting for her to be like, "Oh, you smell like," but nothing.
No,
It's
nothing.
like,
And
okay.
I'm just like, okay, are we ignoring the inevitable? And Kate automatically knew something was up.
Yeah.
And to me, that also could be foreshadowing for Keven and Zoe's relationship. Just saying, if you can't pick up on that, you can't pick up what's being thrown down. Either way,
somebody blind,
and right? And all the stories of like, what about the massages? Wait, I didn't get a massage. Like, there's a little like, where are we going with this?
Right.
But I think that's going into predictions a little bit more.
It's crazy though. It's just you see addiction, and relapsing. It's just.
I mean, relapsing is real. Most people do.
Yeah, a lot of people do, and it just takes that one trigger, because he thought Nick would be that next father figure, but it was just kind of like.
And maybe he was trying to search for a wound
to
fill, and when he kept running against the wall, he's like, I can't handle it anymore.
Right. I'm like, that's bottles on bottles though. Like he was like 10 bottles deep.
And the fact that he was not slurring his words after that much.
I'm like, you're professional. Like what?
I'm sorry. Has it really been that long since you've been drinking?
Exactly. Like, doesn't seem that long.
Right. And then obviously that leads into Kate offering to drive him to a support meeting, and her water broke. Very early, which you need
28 weeks.
28 weeks. And you're supposed to be, 36 weeks?
Yeah.
That's really early.
It is really early.
That's 8 weeks. And plus, she already had the issues going into the pregnancy. Her weight is a huge issue for pregnancy. It's not normally safe at all to be at that size to have a child. So, I mean, you've already touched on it. I hope your prediction doesn't come true.
Right.
But I'm really proud of Keven owning up on it real quick to Toby.
Yeah.
Of like,
yeah, me too.
I can't drive because I've been drinking all day. And you could hear Toby being pissed on the other end.
Right. Yeah, man, I felt for Toby at that moment because I'm like, he must be so pissed. But at this time, like, he's gonna have to deal with that later. Now it's all about Kate, but it's like, my wife can't make it to the emergency right now because you can't handle your stuff.
And if those few minutes made that big of a difference, like,
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
going to be a huge divide and a huge issue. But I did love, before we go into our news and all of our photos and everything, because we're running out of time, I did love the flashback and moments when Kate was in the hospital of them at the party and saying, how is it going to change going to the future? And then that shot of the three of them and him holding the hand and saying, I promise.
And then,
back and forth. Oh, it gives me chills because that's what you hope for when you're young, is like, you want your siblings and your family members and your friends to be there for those big life moments.
Right. Yeah, and I was so happy Randall showed up, and then just those cut tos, what they always do in this is, and like, it's just amazing.
It was so good.
It's so amazing.
So good. And I mean, obviously the show's so amazing. We talked about it a couple weeks ago that they won a SAG award for Best Drama Series, or Best Ensemble Drama Series. And I got the amazing opportunity of going to the NBC mid-season preview a couple of weeks ago. We would have shown it to you last week, but we were off. But I got to talk to Milo himself. And we got to talk to the rest of the cast a couple weeks ago on set. But we do have a video for you that is hosted on one of our other networks, BHL, where you can watch my full interview. But we're going to go ahead and show it to you right now.
Home, so
how did that feel for you being on the set?
Listen, I sat on your couch. It's very comfortable.
You were on the late '80s couch.
I'm like,
sat on the couch. We did.
It had a lot of warmth to it.
It smells like the '90s, oddly enough, like that smell that I remember from my childhood.
It did.
Like, oh, yep, I remember this smell.
That's amazing.
Very vividly.
Amazing.
Well, you have had such an incredible journey with Jack, and obviously I love season 3, where we're really seeing the love story between yourself and Rebecca, and then now we're going into more of the PTSD and really talking about Nikki. What was that like with the journey and figuring out that Nikki's alive, and then now the conversations with you and your brother?
It was a little cart before the horse. It was something that we had to go back to creation of Jack and make sure it lined up with what we knew of him, being a father, being a husband, any of that. So it was kind of like standing across the room and, having this like small hole, and you got to like throw the ball into the hole, but you have to like line it up perfectly to get it. So it was interesting and difficult in times, but it was also like really rewarding when when everything that we had created and built and accomplished as Jack as a younger man, leading into the guy that we knew from the first episode. So, uncovering his time in the war and his relationship with his brother and that new love, young love with Rebecca.
What I loved so much about Milo was that he was so present and listened to every bit of the question.
Yeah.
He even interviewed me at the beginning. And that's something that I really enjoyed. I really felt I understand where the essence of Jack comes from. And he was lovely to talk to and said hi to everybody. And then he actually went over to Ellen right afterwards. And I watched the Ellen clip and I was like, he's in the same outfit. Look at that. But it was great. So if you guys want to watch the full interview, I was like, I want to watch more. I forgot about all of this. You can hop on over to BHL and you can go and watch that and all of my interviews with some of your favorite actors from all the NBC shows.
Yes.
And then Instagram, obviously, we had a couple photos that we want to share with you guys. And obviously, we just mentioned we got to go to the set and visit. So we have a photo
was awesome.
Of us with Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown.
Oh, he was amazing too.
He was amazing to talk to. He was so down to earth and just like answering our questions
Very
fully. And yeah, as you can see, we just had a great time with him.
We're all cheesing from ear to ear, like. And we have a couple other photos. I had one actually.
That's with. So I had the great opportunity to interview Annie Pearson, Faith Herman. She's a delight. So only 11 years old, and she is doing her damn thing.
She does not look 11.
She does not look 11. She looks like she's 6, but she's she's so amazing, so well spoken. Yeah. She has a magazine, like she had her own magazine that we brought on there. And so you can go check that out, the full interview on AfterBuzz Spotlight On, and you can catch her April 5th in Shazam.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Like, congratulations to her. And also congratulations to Kate with the cake. And it seems like they had a hard time with the graduation cake. Mandy Moore was so funny. If you hop on over to Instagram, you can watch the slide of all those photos of the cake falling.
The cake fell.
I just love this because I'm such a sucker for behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to become an actor, because I was like, it looks like they're having so much fun.
Of course.
As a kid, and so to see that, I was like, wow, okay. That's just, you can tell that they all really love each other.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
We're running out of time, so we want to do our tissue moments and predictions all in one. So okay, listen, Paris normally is in charge of the tissue box. She's clearly not here this week. We miss you, Paris and Lena. But that being said, we needed something. So we have our toilet paper. So instead of it being 1, 2, 3 tissues or up to 5 tissues of tissue moments, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ply. Oh, that's our timer. Okay, I'm gonna give it a 5. I'm gonna give it a 5 this week. Okay. I think that's 5 because Mandy, Rebecca, my heart, just for you, like I just broke, because to see the aftermath of losing Jack, like it's one thing to lose him, but then to live life without him. That's true. I could cry right now, but I'm not going to because we have to go into predictions. So my prediction is that we're going to see a lot more of the baby issue.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
There you go.
I'll go rephrase that because yes. So my prediction is the baby's going to make it. I'm going to be positive because I know what This Is Us does to me.
Right.
I'm trying to be positive for it. But regardless, I think that there are going to be a lot of issues with the baby. Whether or not he lives. We obviously did see the preview. If you guys didn't, spoilers. We know that she has to have...
Spoiler alert.
We know that she has to have emergency surgery only from the previews that we saw.
Yes.
So that is the prediction. I also don't think Zoe and Kevin are going to last much longer.
So my tissue moment, we're gonna go with the moment with Kate.
How many ply?
I got 3.
3 ply. 3 ply.
We're gonna go with the moment where Kate and Kevin were together, and Kevin was at his lowest point, and she found out the truth. And him just pleading her not to tell Zoe, that was a moment where it was just like really touching. And just one of those things where you just saw a lot of vulnerability on both sides. And so my predictions.
Yes.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm still going to do a prediction with Kate. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Zoe and Keven, that's going to be a little rocky to moving forward. Randall and Beth, I believe that one of them are going to propose to get Rebecca to be there and babysit.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
I like
think
that.
Either Rebecca or Miguel. I think someone's going to step in because it's just needed right now. And I'm just excited.
There's a lot. I'm so sorry, guys. We thought this was going to be a short episode because it was the two of us. But clearly, you don't want to put the two of us together because we won't shut up. And we won't shut up right now because we need to wrap up. So be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place, to talk all about episode 15 for This Is Us. Again, my name is Candice Cruz. You can find me on all my social media at Candice R. Cruz.
And you can find me everywhere at I Am Danny Royce. Also, tune in this Thursday at 4 p.m. Another episode of Inside the Black Actors Studio.
Woo-hoo. Sounds good. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.